control algorithm for power filter technology, converters for electric vehicles, and electric vehicle and plug-in electric vehicle battery charging, hybrid output converters for nanogrid applications, and two of my research scholar working in the area of multi-phase induction motor drive and its control, and it is related to battery application, electric vehicle application. Okay, so with this, I'll be going to talk about a simple research work which we have carried out in our laboratory, and what are the issues associated with that journey that I will highlight during my course of our discussion. And here we have basically three main component of my talk. It is related to the charging infrastructure only. Like we have an integrated battery charger, which is a prime focus. My work will be focused on this topic only, integrated battery charger. And apart from this, we have onboard and off-board chargers and the few future directions associated with development of charging infrastructures. So let us start with the simple talk. Probably many experts have covered this particular area. In general, if you see the electric vehicle, we have two ports for charging the vehicle. One is called the quick charger plug, which is directly coupled to this battery. It is directly connected to this battery through this particular point. And the second is the port which is somewhere here, and it is called the household charge plug. And apart from this, you might you know there is a battery which is connected to inverter to convert it into AC, and then it is connected to motor to drive the motor. Okay, so we have majorly three component. One is the battery, second is the inverter converter system, and third is the induction motor. Let us say one of the motor is the induction motor, which is used to drive the whole system. So with these three major component, and but our aim is how to charge this vehicle battery whenever it required charging. So the general infrastructure for charging system, again it is if you see this middle rectangular block with the dotted line, it shows the electric vehicle, and again it has a two port like previous slide. So here we have one pocket, like here we have a household plug, charger plug. The same here we have a AC terminal is coming out. So this is a AC charger plug. And there is one more charging plug which is directly connected to the battery system. So this is a quick charger. And here we have this charger where battery is directly connected to this charger for the charging. So in general layout, you will find there are two main components. There is a charger which is placed on the car, like in this inner diagram, we have a charger which is placed on the car body itself, and that is called the onboard charger. And there is a charger which is away from the car, that is the off-board charger, which is placed here. And the off-board charger is used for the fast charging, whereas the onboard charger, it is used for, it is a relatively slow charger, and it is used for the household charging place, etc. And if you look the rating of this charger, AC onboard charger, it is obviously it is a low rating charger, because if you made a high rating charger same as the off-board charger, the size and the cost of the system is going to be increased. So it is a relatively slow charger, and it is expected to charge the electric vehicle within 10 to 15 hours. Yeah, it took 10 to 15 hours to charge the battery. Okay. So whereas in these fast chargers, these are located outside the car, so it can be designed for the high rating charger. So this is the general schematic of it. Now, again, as I said, there is slow charger and fast charger. So there are charger, we call it AC charger, which is normally, if you look the previous diagram, we have a AC point, which is connected to our household terminal socket. So this is called the AC charging, because here the charger is placed in the board itself, in the car itself, so it is used for charging. Whereas here we have a DC power is required to charge the battery directly. So we required a separate charger which is placed at the outside. So there are various power rating associated with that. We will discuss that at later stage. So again, the second layout, which has the lithium ion battery along with the converters, the inverter converters, and the electric traction motor. Similarly, this is one hybrid electric vehicle in which we have a fuel tank along with the battery system to operate the whole system when it is in operation. Okay. So again, I said, apart from onboard charger and offboard charger, that is called the DC charger, there is one more component in this electric vehicle called the BMS system, battery management system. Its role is very, very important to initiate the charging process, because it will sense the state of the battery, it will sense the condition of the drive, and it will sense the state of your grid, and then will it initiate charging. So the role of battery BMS system is very, very important to assess the condition, or it is monitoring the condition of the battery drives and the power supply, and then the charging takes place. So this is the BMS system is there. So these are the few future goals which people has to think, and this is a self-dependent charging system in which the DC power is harnessed from the PV panel, and then the DC to DC converter is installed with the MPPT technique to charge this vehicle battery. So as far as the technological development in the battery system, this is the history of our system, and right now we are with lithium ion battery, which is frequently used in electric vehicle. And so we are somewhere here, and this is the future development. It is a development going on in the area of battery technology, but our aim, our talk is focused on more about the charging the battery, not the battery technology. So as far as the charging of the battery is concerned, as I said, there is an onboard charger as well as the off-board chargers. So in onboard charger, as it is placed in the electric vehicle itself, so it is designed for a low power rating. So if you see the power rating of onboard charger, it is roughly less than 2 kilowatt. And its charging time is around 4 to 11 hours, 11 hours to 36 hours, depending upon the type of car, type of vehicle available. And and this power is derived mainly from single phase supply, because this supply is available in most of the houses. So this is the power rating, their expected time to charge, and this is termed as level 1 charging. The level 2 charging its rating it varies from 4 kilowatt, 8 kilowatt, even up to 20 kilowatt they can rate it for the they have placed in this category, and it is called the level 2 charger, and their charging times varies up to 4 hours, 6 hours, and 3 hours, depending upon the type of the vehicles available. And as let's see, if you have a design 20 kilowatt chargers, so obviously it will be good to go for the 3-phase version of the onboard charger. So there are few onboard charger like in electric buses, there we can use that kind of a charger on the board itself. So they are applied for 3-phase as well as a single phase, and their time of charging is little lesser as compared to level 1 charger. Okay. And last one, that is called the level 3 charger, which is located outside the vehicle, and it is used to charge sometime multiple cars also, yeah, multiple vehicles also. So they can be designed like off-board charger can be designed for the charging the multiple cars at a time, and they can feed the current at a higher rate to charge the vehicle quickly. So this is placed in the category of level 3 chargers. Okay. So this is about the level 1, level 2, level 3, and their onboard charger, they are based on their location we used to identify, and depending upon the power rating requirement, we are deriving from either single phase or 3-phase supply. Okay. I hope I am audible to all.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Yeah.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
Okay. So as I said, based on the category of level 1, 2, 3 charger, we are also sometimes called them as a slow charger, like level 1 and level 2 are placed in the slow charger category, and level 3 is placed on the high charger. And this high charger or level fast chargers we normally call as the DC chargers, because their power rating is relatively very high as compared to our existing system. As far as the topology is concerned, like off-board battery chargers, if you see the actual system, we have a single phase supply around us in a residential home I'm talking about. Suppose there is a home having residential loads, and it is fed by the single phase supply. So you can connect a PWM converter or any converter which can rectify AC supply to DC supply, and then DC supply is further DC to DC converter is used to charge the electric vehicle. Yeah, electric battery of electric vehicle. So there are two place of conversion. One is the AC to DC conversion, and second is the DC to DC converter. So this is the one schematic diagram where we can parallelly we are feeding power to load, means residential load, along with we can use to charge the battery also. So this is the one broader category of it. Now the second is, suppose if you want to use for multiple, like suppose I have designed for a 3-phase charging system. Suppose this is for one individual home you are talking about with the single phase supply. You may take this for the 3-phase, you can extend this for the 3-phase supply also. So though I have here single phase supply, you can go for the 3-phase version of this supply system. And here PWM converter, I have used the single phase PWM converter. You may use 3-leg to derive AC into DC. So this PWM converter may be a 3-phase PWM converter, in which the input coming from the supply is here, instead of a single phase, you required 3-phase supply system. So here you can maintain the DC link voltage as per your requirement of how many battery you want to charge and at all. So like in our system, we have a 3-phase system like 415 volt 50 hertz supply, which is used to feed power to some residential load, as well as it is used to drive the, it is used to charge the electric vehicle. So this is the one schematic diagram which is used in the first stage. Three-phase PWM converter is used to convert AC into DC, and then from this DC link we have multiple buck converters, DAP converter, dual active bridge converter. In each case, suppose for this example, I have made 3 block diagram, and each are identical, having H bridge followed by high frequency transformer, and at the rectifier side we have another bridge, and then we are feeding that power to load. So in this, the control part is very, very important for us, because some of the situation where none of the vehicle is available for the charging, then what is the role of PWM converter? So we have developed control algorithm in such a manner, when none of the vehicle is available for charging, these all DAP converters are remain idle, and now this DC link capacitor along with this single phase or 3-phase PWM converter will do the job of power conditioning. Like it will act as a simple D statecom you might have studied. So it will do all the job related to reactive power compensation, harmonic elimination, load, etc. But whenever the vehicle is connected for the charging, then the role of dual active bridge starts, and it will start taking power from the supply through the PWM converter, and it will charge the vehicle in CC mode as well as the CV mode. So this is the one operation. And suppose if none of the supply, here the grid supply fails and the cars are available at the parking stations, so that each car battery can be work as an independent source of energy, and that can be used to feed power to the local residential load in case when the power is not available here. Or even though the power is available here, and if the vehicle is fully charged, they can be allowed to feed power to this residential load. So there are 3 different mode of operation we have identified for this converter. One place when the none of the vehicle is available, then PWM converter along with this self-controlled capacitor will act as a D statecom, and it will do all the job of related to the D statecom, like reactive power compensation, harmonic elimination, etc. Whenever the vehicle is used for the charging second part, then it will draw power from the supply and it will charge the vehicle in CC and CV mode. This is the second part. And when the battery is fully charged and the supply is available, or it is a partially load required more, then we can feed power from the battery as well as from the main grid to feed the power to the residential load. So these all type of these 3 type of mode of operation we have discussed, we have made in our laboratory, and we have successful in implementation. Okay. So apart from this, this is about the general work which I have just now said about the off-board charger. Now let us talk about the on-board charger. So in on-board charger, as I said, it is at on-board, means this charger is placed in your electric car, and it is not designed for high power rating. Their value is less than 2 kilowatt. The rating is less than 2 kilowatt. So suppose if you are charging a vehicle, it requires larger time because their current rating is very, very small. And if you design for larger rating, then the size of your vehicle, means the weight on the vehicle will increase, and it will also increase the cost. So how to do the future direction for that? So again, you see the general layout of electric vehicle. So here we have an electric car, same as let us take one electric vehicle, in which This onboard charger, as I said, this is the schematic of onboard charger. Like we have a diode rectifier at the front end, followed by norms and PFC converters, AC-DC converters, then DC to DC converter. So this part is placed in vehicle. So this is the part which is placed here. And then we have a battery pack, then this bidirectional DC to DC converter, then inverter, and then electric vehicle machine. So whenever the battery is required to be charged, the whole system is at rest, means battery machine is not operating, electric vehicle is not operating. And now this AC plug is plugged into a supply grid, connected to a grid, and then it will start charging your vehicle like this way. So whenever the electric car required charging, then the onboard charger will drive the current, but see their rating is very, very small. So it charge the vehicle but at a very slow rate. Got it? Now, but whenever the charge is full and the electric vehicle is in use on the road, then this part is not connected to the grid. So we have only battery pack and energy is flowing through this from DC to DC converter. It will go to this DC link. And then from this DC link, the DC to AC converter or this traction drive is used to drive the whole system. So under normal situation, under healthy situation, your means when there are two mode of operation of this vehicle. One is called propulsion mode, in which the battery is going to feed power. This battery is going to feed power like this. So we have bidirectional converter and the inverter and induction motor. So when the car is running on the road, it will draw more current while starting, braking. So obviously the design of this converter, this inverter and even machine, their current rating or their overall rating is larger as compared to this front end converter, these converters. So here these are the relatively less rating as compared to this bidirectional converter and this inverter and this induction motor. So that here I want to talk in terms of current rating. Okay. So in order to do that, what we have done in our case to make the system simpler, we have tried to remove this part. We have tried to remove this part of onboard converter, and we have tried to integrate this system in this vehicle itself. So what we did now, we have this electric vehicle. See, this is the electric vehicle, and as I said, it is a two mode. First mode, when the car is running on the road, then the battery will provide energy to electric motor through these power electronic devices, and the flow of power is like this. Okay. And so this is called the propulsion mode. The second mode is called, suppose if the battery is discharged or it is required to be charged, then the power flow should be reversed. So earlier what we used to do, there was the PFC converter which used to charge the battery pack. But now what we are trying to do that, we are customize this induction motor in such a manner we can feed power through induction motor, and then the same inverter is used to carry out the current while charging, and then this is the bidirectional converter. So what we are trying to do in the second mode, during charging, the flow of power is from this side, and the connection is made at the induction motor itself. I hope now it is okay. If anyone has a doubt, they may ask question at any time. Do not wait for the end to us. Okay. So again, I am repeating, when the machine is at running condition as a battery, when it is used as a car, the battery will provide energy to induction motor and the flow of current is like this. Our power flow is from battery to machine. But whenever the battery is drained and it is required to be charged, then electrical connection is made from the induction motor. Then the same infrastructure is used. As why I am using same infrastructure? The reason is they are already designed for high current rating, yeah, high power rating. So if you use during charging time, these all infrastructures are kept idle. So it is better to use same infrastructure for the charging also. So they are, you need not to, like in previous case, you had this additional part in the electric vehicle so that it can charge the battery pack, and this part remain idle. This part remain idle. So what we are trying to do, we have eliminated this part and we have made electrical connection from this motor terminal itself. So we are using this infrastructure to charge the electric vehicle because they are rated for a high current rating. So we can pump any amount of current which is suitable for electric motor, for a VSC traction drive, and this bidirectional to charge the battery. So there is no need to requirement of this onboard charger on the board itself. So hope it is okay. So with this background, let us take what is the simple circuit associated with this. And now, if you see this lower diagram, I hope it is visible. We have a battery pack. This is a general diagram. We have a AC motor, or let's say the three-phase induction motor, which is driven by this voltage source converter, and then the battery. So this, in the motoring mode, this battery provide energy to induction motor through this VSC, and all the motor control drive system is implied under this situation. But whenever this is required to be charged, suppose battery is depleted and it is required to be charged, your induction motor terminal, their neutral point must be accessible to you. This is the requirement for us. So you can customize in your induction motor, your neutral point is also available for your connection. Then you can imply this for the charging also. So let us take this small conversion here. If you take this neutral point is available to you, that is one point. And here battery DC link terminal, this positive terminal is also available. So this is also available for you. So you can connect a small diode rectifier, a very simple arrangement, and then this is the AC system, and it will use to charge your electric vehicle. So this induction motor winding, stator winding is used as a filter inductor. This is used as a filter inductor to charge the vehicle. And what will be the path, that I will discuss later on. But you can see here, you are connecting single phase supply from the neutral side as well as this is from the grid side. So I will come to this part later. Let's look at the this diagram. So the same circuit which we have just now here, let us consider the one leg of the inverter, and this is the one phase and this complete system. So if you see this particular diagram, we have a AC system, then there is a diode rectifier. So this part is now externally available, and this has a motor winding, maybe one phase, and this is the top device of the inverter and their body diodes, and then this is a capacitor. So when the switch is on, current is start flowing like this, and under that case the diode will be off. This will be the diode will be off, and the capacitor will provide energy to battery like this. And whenever the switch is off, then this current will flow. Here the battery is, here inductor is charged, or the stator winding phase is stored energy. And whenever the switch is off, the stored energy will release and it will continue to flow through the battery, and it will also flow to maintain the capacitor voltage. So this way, if the one switch is operated, when switch is on, the supply is connected to the phase of the induction motor. When the switch is off, induction motor winding energy is now going to flow through this battery like this. The same thing can be done in three ways. You just look at this particular diagram. So we have S1, like in this inverter, we have this three-leg inverter. In each leg, S1, S4, S3, S6, S5, S2 are connected. So suppose this is the situation, D4, D6, D2, these are the body diode. These diodes are called the body diode. And if you do not give any pulse to this switches, lower switches, you will get this kind of configuration. So while charging mode, you have to make a one control logic so that during charging mode, you do not give any pulse to these switches. Only the upper switches are to be operated. So when S1 is on, flow of current will be like this. Okay. When S1 is on. During this case, this diode is off and the battery will provide energy to load like this during this. When S1 is off, then what is going to happen? When S1 is going to off, then what is going to happen? See the situation, second situation. When this S1 is off, then stored energy in the inductor of the one phase is going to flow through this way. It will go through this way. Again, it will go through the battery and it will complete its path through diode D4. So this circuit is same as the previous circuit which just now I said. Similarly, if you talk about S3, if you talk about this S3, when S3 is on, this is going to operate like this to charge the phase B. And when the S3 is off, the stored energy in phase B is going to flow through the battery and it is going through diode D4. Likewise, in third case, so what I want to do here, in third case, when S5 is operated, then phase 3, this third phase is charged. When this is off, the third phase is going to discharge through diode D2. So operation of each this S1, S3, S5 is in an interleaved manner, and we are going to operate the vehicle. So this is the one concept which is available in the in the system, in the literature, and we are trying to extend this part for our future work. Okay. So what we have implemented the same system in our laboratory, and after that we have found that as there is a diode rectifier, so their current and this voltage, they are creating problem. Though this voltage is purely sinusoidal with a reasonable harmonics as per the guidelines of IEEE, but this is the non-sinusoidal which lead to the poor power quality at this particular point. So we need to alter this situation. So what we did now in our work, so let me move to the straightway to the my work. So again, the same system which just now I said, like we have a lithium ion battery, then DC to DC converter, and then this is a voltage source inverter, and this is a three-phase induction motor. When the machine is running on the road, the switch S2 is now open. This is now open. So the circuit is only induction motor and it is driven by lithium ion battery, through VSC. So the flow of power is from battery to machine like this. Now, when the battery is discharged and it is expected to be charged, then machine is kept at the rest, and now this instead of open, you have to connect this connector J1772 connector to any suitable household outlet. So when the switch is closed, this way the switch is closed, you can move to the lower diagram. Now what is required for this? We require induction motor whose terminal neutral point is accessible and it is connected to a charging port. Similarly, the one more thing, the DC link capacitor midpoint is also accessible to you. So these two external arrangement you have to made in your existing system, and now this can be connected to AC plug to charge the vehicle. Now what is going to happen now when you are going to charge the vehicle battery by considering induction motor terminal as connected to the source? So this is the system where AC supply is connected to this neutral point, and the second AC terminal is connected to the midpoint of this DC link. So here you will find there is the inductor L1, L2, L3. These are the source inductance, or you can say this is the input side AC inductance, which is same as the self inductance of the stator winding of a three-phase induction motor. So what we are going to do, we are going to operate as there is a three-leg inverter and there is a one H bridge capacitor here also. So this we have a three-phase PWM rectifier which can be operated in a phase shifting manner to convert AC supply to DC supply. So this we have done here. So what is the novel in it? Novel in it is we have used the induction motor for this induction self-inductance of induction motor as a filter inductor for PWM rectifier. Second thing, in the battery application, these ratings are very high motor rating. If you see the general configuration, the motor rating of very high. Sometimes motor rating you will find, let's say that 80 kilowatt. Like let's say the reasonable motors, you have a 20 kilo for any application, 50 kilowatt motor. Even converter VA rating is rated for this. Hello? Any doubt? So what I want to say that when the machine is running as in propulsion mode, like in a car, these infrastructures are used and they are designed for high rating. Now we are using same infrastructure to charge the vehicle. So there is no limit of current as such as we have seen in onboard charger. So we can design the charger rating as per the rating of this traction drive or this DC to DC converter. So you can charge your vehicle at any rate, and that may be put in the category of level 3 chargers. Okay. So this is the one thing, but the issue related to this is two things. Here you have a three-phase induction motor in which the star point, here you are giving AC supply. So what is the requirement for an induction motor to operate as a motor? Because here your requirement is when the machine is used as a charging, is a part of charging system, this machine should not rotate. This motor should not rotate. So to do that, so can anybody tell in this case whether the motor will rotate or not? Hello, am I audible? Excuse me. Hello.
Yes, you are audible, but I think participants are not responding.
Okay, okay, no problem, no problem. So, so here again, my question is: when we are giving three-phase supply to means single-phase supply to star connected this stator winding, and from the midpoint of neutral point you are giving AC supply. So here, each current flowing in 120-degree space winding of the induction motor carry the same time domain current. I mean sin omega t is flowing in each case. So here here you will not find any rotating magnetic field produced, and therefore during this charging operation this vehicle is at the stationary. So this is also our requirement. So this is one thing. So second, one more topology which we just now, because here suppose you are charging the electric vehicle, this battery, and let's say the 50 ampere current is flowing through the vehicle. So it is designed to carry in induction motor also. Here we are dealing with the three-phase supply, and their rating is very large because it is all same motor is used as a charger, means propulsion mode also. Now, what we did in our laboratory work, we have split this six-phase, means three-phase of induction motor in multiple winding like this way. Means each phase is divided into 4 sub-phase like this. This is for phase A. Similarly, this way the 4 segment we have used for. So this is one phase. Similarly, we have used three phase B and phase C also. And if you alter the supply, suppose I want to pump current of, let's say, the 150 ampere or even 200 ampere. Suppose such system is used for the electric buses. In that case, you required a larger current to charge the vehicle. So for that, we need instead of single phase supply, you can go for three phase supply. So we have a three phase supply like VAS, VPS, VCS, and it is connected here. As I said, the each phase of induction motor is now splitted into 4 parts, and if you connect two windings like this, and the midpoint of this is used for the connection of AC supply like this. Suppose if you have an induction motor and you have say at center tap you supply AC supply for phase A. So the phase B is connected to the center tap of phase B of the induction motor, and then again phase C is connected to midpoint of phase C of the induction motor. So in this way, each phase of induction motor is center tapped, and their center point, the phase A, B, C of the supply is connected. So this is a part of extension of the same concept for the high power rating, where induction motor, now we need to access, we required the center typing of this induction motor, and designer can easily do that. So this is not possible as far as the practical approach is concerned. So this is one of the arrangement. Even if you see the electric bus, you will find there are multiple induction motors are used, not a single motor. You will get 2 motors are connected. So that can also be extended in the same configuration, like the same, this configuration can be extended, and then their paralleling is done to charge this vehicle. So that is also possible. Our second thing, existing induction motor in which the center tap configuration is now connected to AC supply. So this way the first part is now completed. Why we have made this center tapping? Can anybody respond? Why we have made this central center tapping.
Its impact on the time constant of the circuit, sir.
Pardon?
Uh, the impact will be to increase or decrease the time constant of the circuit.
No. Actually, what happened, now you are giving three-phase supply to this induction motor, and at each phase at the midpoint, you are connecting the supply. So now if you see the current distribution, here current is going from the phase A supply at the mid terminal. Now it is going to flow in each phase like this. Similarly, the phase B current is flowing here, and the phase B is going to flow like this. Similarly, the phase C current is here, and it is going to flow in both the direction. So what we are doing, we are equally dividing the phase of induction stator winding of the induction motor, and at midpoint we are giving supply. So the flux produced by each phase is going to be 0. The resultant of flux produced by each phase is going to be 0, and therefore magnetic flux produces means, as you said, now when you give three-phase supply to any induction winding, star connected or delta connected induction motor, there is going to be a rotating magnetic field. So here, that concept here we are trying to nullify by connecting this configuration. Because when the machine is, when the battery of the car is going to be charged through the induction motor side, here the no magnetic flux, rotating flux is produced. Here you should require 0 flux. So that is why we did in this arrangement. And now here we have a 6 terminal. So we required 6 such inverter. Like 3-leg inverter is available, we required 3 more inverter, which is already there in the bus where 2 induction motors are used in the machine, in the electric vehicle. And as far as the DC part is concerned, DC to DC conversion is concerned, you can extend the same topology here to charge the vehicle. So what we have done here, we are charging the same vehicle, but at most 3-4 times more than the rated current, through the 3-phase supply of this system. So we have existing single phase supply which is tested and it is now completed. Now the same work is extended for 3-phase supply, and it is used to charge for a high value of current, more current. Okay. Now let us look at the experimental part. Let us hear the first part I am talking about, the first one. We have in our laboratory a single phase, 3-phase induction motor, in which each phase of induction motor is going to 25% tapping we have provided. So suppose we have a phase A. So for phase A, we used this group like this. So 25% tapping we have provided. So this is a phase A. Similarly, for phase B, we had this phase B like this. This is for phase B. This is for phase A. Similarly, for phase C, we used to have this kind of external arrangement. Now, this 3 is marked as a, let's say this is 1. Similarly, this has a mark as a 2. So here it is a 2. This one may be the 3. So this is 3. And the last one is 4. So this is 4. So this way, the 4 groups are available, and you will find in this diagrams also, we have such 4 groups. Okay. So we have made such a extension, intentionally we have customized our induction motor with the help of our vendor to design this kind of motor. And now this is tested when the motoring mode. So this is the instant when we are performing testing at their place. Okay, like this. the testing connections, what we have did, we have tried to sort out the one of the terminal and we are giving supply from other terminal, so that and we are taking whether the how much current they are drawing, what is the waveform, what is the wave shape, that all we are testing at their place only. So in the nutshell, what I want to say, in existing induction motor, we have taken each phase and we have provided tapping for each phase. So here we have, let's say this is for phase A, this is for phase B, this is for phase C. And so here we have typing like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These 8 terminals are available. So suppose if I want to apply 415 volt, like the first term, suppose I want to implement this particular configuration. So what I need to do, we need to sort this connection with this connection with this with this with this, and likewise we will do here, we can do here, and this terminal is available for your connection and this may be connected as a short circuit. So this is just like a star connected. We are doing all the connection in series and this is short circuited and we are giving supply to inverter like this. And this point is also accessible, so that can be used. So this can be used. Similarly, the same configuration, if I want to extend for the next topology, so as I said, you can make this connection here, this connection here, and now this midpoint is available for us, so we can connect, we can use for supply system. So we can give supply here only, and now this can be equally used as a this particular connection. So for this particular diagram, we can also implement on the same experimental setup. So we have done this so that we can use multiple, we can test multiple configuration on the same system. Okay. Now, in the first stage, we need to know how what is the self-inductance of the windings. So here the experiment is conducted after the designing of the inverter, this induction motor. We want to know what is the self-inductance of each terminal, each segment of the winding. So here we have a single phase supply from 3-phase auto transformer. We have taken the single phase, 1 phase and 1 neutral, and then we have connected with this induction motor, and then it is connected to a load. So simple arrangement is, we have a AC supply, then there is a motor winding, maybe let's say the A1, A2 terminal, one part of this is A1, A2, and here you can connect a lamp load, and you can use the voltage across the winding and current through the winding. These are the two measurements which we have done through our Fluke, and we have tried to at different voltage, we have tried to calculate what is the power level, what is the current, what is the voltage across the inductor, and later on we have tried to calculate what is the inductance of this part of the inductance. Similarly, for the next set, we have taken this, then we have taken combination of this. So all permutation combination we have done, and with 25%, when 50%, then 75%, and then 100% connection, we have tried to find out what is the self-inductance offered by each phase of the winding or the part of the winding. So in this slide, we have tried to say the experimental data in which we have applied the voltage, and we have tried to calculate the current, and we have tried to find what is the self-inductance. So we have found that the self-inductance of 25% tapping is 4 millihenry, 4.1 millihenry, 4 millihenry. This is for phase A, phase B, and phase C. Similarly, if you have gone for 50%, this is a 16 millihenry, 18 millihenry, and 19 millihenry. Likewise, Again for 75, it is 26, 27 and 27 millihenry. So what I want to conclude here, we have variety of inductance varying from 4 millihenry to 40 or 50 millihenry inductance we can achieve by different combination of this connection. So when you use to charge the use to charge the electric vehicle through induction motor winding, so here you can whatever the design values comes, you can make the connection, interconnection of winding, and you can make the you can achieve that filter inductor. So that we did here. And then obviously during the test we have recorded the waveform, their active power, reactive power, and then apparent power, and based on that we have calculated the value of inductance L. Now this is the one is photo of our experimental setup. As I said, this is a auto transformer, and now we have, this is a customized 3-phase induction motor. These are the sensor used to sense the stator current, DC link voltage. Then we have a battery backup here, 400 volt battery with 7 ampere hour capacity we have taken. This is the battery bank we have made. Then this is the semicron module of inverter we have used. This is a small DC to DC converter we have used, that is called the TL DC to DC converter. And then Opel RT simulator we have used to dump our control system in it. Okay, so this is the small photograph for that. So as I said, there are two things. One is the front side. Here we have a front side this configuration, and the second side. So we have in between 700 volt DC link we have achieved from here, and this 700 DC link is used to charge this battery having voltage, nominal voltage around 400. So how to convert 700 volt to 400 volt? Obviously we require DC to DC converter. So here we have used MOSFET as a device. So as the DC link voltage increases, we need to reduce we have to look for their size reduction and losses reductions also. So for looking to that aspect, we have tried to take the 3-level DC to DC converter. Why we have taken? It is a large story and it is a part of literature survey also. So now we have tried, here you can think this is a simple buck converter which is used to convert from 700 volt to 400 volt while charging. So as I said, once you got the 700 volt as a DC link from AC to DC, now it is required to be converted to 400 volt, and then for that these converters are used. So there are various mode of operation for this converter. Again, as there is 4 switches are connected, so they can be operated either 2 mode, either both are on or one on, or both are off, or alternate, and or both are on. So we have tried to make both are on. So here all possible combinations we have taken. Like this is the situation when both the switches are off, like first category. This is the taken when one of the switches, this is the second category. This is the situation in upper and this is off, so you may take this category. And here both are on, so you can take this category. So all the 4 systems are used, and accordingly you will find that if you use a simple buck converter, here each MOSFET has to block 700 volt individually. But here we have used TL buck converter, 3-level buck converter. Idea is to reduce the voltage stress across the devices. So here the voltage stress is reduced to half. So instead of 700 volt DC, here the blocking voltage required is around 350. So selection of MOSFET with the little lesser rating is observed. And again, with this converter, if you see the design aspect of this inductor, normal buck converter and this inductor, buck converter, inductor of normal buck converter and inductor of this buck converter have again different ripple content, and their size is also reduced. Similarly, this capacitor size is also reduced. So there are various drawback, means drawback of conventional converter when you apply for a higher DC link voltage. So here we have a smaller DC link, means a higher DC link voltage. So we have tried to reduce the switching stress, then the losses, and then the ripple content in voltage and current in the inductor. And we have tried, let me see this is the one comparison which we have made in the conventional buck converter and the 3-level buck converter. So let us see the diagram. This is the more appealing diagram. So if you see the ripple in output voltage, if you use the conventional converter, if you operate duty ratio somewhere, let's say the 0.5, because when you operate buck converter while charging either CC mode or CB mode, their duty ratio is going to change from 0 to 1. Let at any instant of time, you are operating duty ratio somewhere, means for example, you have a 700 volt DC link and you want 400 volt output. So accordingly, you can work out what should be the value of D. And obviously 400 divided by 7.7. So it will come something about, let's say at this particular point, let's say somewhere here. So if in order to get this, suppose if you extend this line, it is going to intersect somewhere here as well as here. So for the same DC link voltage, in our case, the ripple is a normalized value. So here ripple is around 90%. Whereas in our case, 90% ripple, and here in case of this converter which we have selected for this operation, here it is less than 10%. So this is the added advantage, ripple in output voltage. Similarly, if you size the inductor ripple, for the same duty ratio, if you try to calculate the inductor, so let's say here again inductor is also having 90% ripple, close to 90% ripple, and in this case it is a hardly 1% ripple. So what I want to say that whenever you select the DC to DC converter at the for use to charge the battery, you have to think of at what voltage level you are going to charge. And as it is designed for high charging, so obviously the voltage rating will be more. So for that case, we have to look for their switching losses, switching stress, as well as device losses. And if possible, you can also implement zero voltage switching, zero current switching for this particular converter. Okay. As far as control part is concerned, there are two aspects. One is the inverter, means we have induction motor followed by the inverter and then DC link. So that is called interleaved boost converter. So that is that control is separate. So we have this block diagram for interleaved boost converter, first stage. And whenever you want to charge the battery, you have to charge either CV mode and or CC mode. So here this block shows that the charging of battery through the TL buck converter. So initially when the battery is drained, when you connect AC supply, it will DC supply, it will charge and it will draw any amount of current, large amount of current, because it is hungry, it is required to be charged. So you have to limit the rating as per the recommended practice of charging the battery. For example, battery is rated for some ampere capacity, sub-ampere hour, then you have to charge the battery with their C rate respectively. For example, 0.1 C rate you are charging or 0.5 C rate you are charging. So accordingly, you can fix the current rating, and then it will sense the actual current, and then through PI controller it will give signal. Similarly, if you want to maintain output voltage, suppose your battery is fully charged or 80% charged, then you have to go for the CV mode operation. Then again you have to fix the at what voltage you have to fix. Suppose at 400 I have fixed and I want to charge the battery in CV mode. So that way, here two independent loop. One is CV mode, CV converter, CC converter, because constant current controller. This is constant voltage controller. These two signals are available. Whether you have to select this signal or this signal, it depends on the state of charge of the battery, SOC. So accordingly, that can be given to switch 1, and so these pulses are given to switch 1 and switch 2. So this way, this is a control diagram of TL DC to DC converter. Okay. This is a few test results. When you operate the machine, here there are different operating conditions we have followed. We have taken, like, let's say the 230 volt 30 volt AC supply we have given, and we are charging the electric vehicle battery with constant CC mode as well as CV mode. So this is the circuit diagram when the machine is charging, battery is charging with CV mode. Here it is charging with CC mode, and here it is charging with CV mode. So obviously when machine is charging with CV mode, constant voltage mode, their current rating is going to be less, because the battery is charged near to their nominal value. So here we see the current rating. Here around 50 ampere peak current is flowing, but here in the AC waveform you will find less than 10 ampere peak is of the AC waveform. So you will find, but as far as the quality of input side waveform, we have a voltage and their current, so they are in same phase, and even the voltage current THD is reasonably good. Similarly, if you see the output voltage of the converter to charge the battery, when it is operating in CC mode, it is 20 ampere current is flowing, and here the battery voltage is less than 400 volt. But if you see in the CV mode, here the battery is charged with the 400 volts, so here 400 voltage maintained constant, and here the battery is here current is battery current is 5 ampere current. So this way it can be integrated. Now when SOC is roughly near to 30%, then it starts charging, and you are charging with the CC mode. Moment it reached to 70 or 80%, let's say when it reached to 73%, the operation is shifted to CV mode. And then from CV mode onward, it will start charging with constant voltage mode. So this way you can interpret the results. Similarly, this is the one operating condition. Suppose the supply voltage falls near to 80 volt AC supply is given to machine, and then it starts charging. So how it will behave? So that all we have done. So for 80 voltage means worst case situations, we have tried to monitor, and we have tried to see their voltage current, their power quality assessment, as well as overall performance. Here I would like to say, here the DC link voltage is 700 volt. You might have seen at this particular figure, this DC link voltage is 700 volt, which is maintained constant in both the cases when the supply is 85 volt. One more thing within the winding, as I said, in the winding, we have 3 inductors like this, and each is carrying current. So individual current, their operation of each leg is interleaved, shifted by 120 degree in order to see the ripple in individual windings is large, but when they are cumulative, when they are added, integrated, the supply current is reduced significantly. So that you can so this is a harmonic spectra of voltage. This is supply current. This is supply current under worst situation, CV mode, and this is under CV mode, CC mode, and this is under CV mode. And again, at two different situations, we have tried to take at 85 volt and at one at a nominal voltage. So this is with 230 volt supply, we have taken the spectra. This is at 85 volt supply, we have tried to take under CC mode and CV mode their currents. So in both the cases, we have find that the converter operations is very perfect and they are following the regulations as per the guidelines, power quality guidelines of spectra. This is the experimental result. Same result we have tried to see in the experimental domain. And the things noticeable here is under the rated conditions, here you can just see the voltage, supply current, then battery voltage, battery current. Likewise, here I want to see this is the inductor, each winding like L1, inductor 2 and inductor 3 means phase A, phase B, phase C of induction motor. They are carrying this kind of current with little larger harmonics in the stator winding. But when they are added, you see the supply current waveform is IS, which is having a relatively lesser ripple. So the control is such a manner that we are trying to reduce the ripple in it. So this is about the supply system, this operation. Similarly, when they are operated in CV mode, means constant voltage mode, when the SOC is about 80%, and that situation, the current drawn will be little lesser. So at that time, it is feeding 2 kilowatt power to the battery. And under that situation, see the waveform of the battery current will be little poor. And if you see the individual winding current, this is the individual winding of a induction motor. And but when they are added, you can see the supply current at this particular point. So this is the waveform test results. This is under the again dynamic situation. When the supply variation is encountered, the performance is also tested and it is found suitable. This is the power quality issues which we have just now said. See, at 85 volt, we have instantaneously, we have tried to take the reading, and then 86 ampere current. This is for a very short duration, we have tried to take the reading. Under the 230 volt nominal voltage, and we have tried to see this is the supply current and their harmonics, voltage harmonics and current harmonics, it is being observed. You can see these are some system parameters which we have taken. In conclusion, I can say that this topology reduces the size of output filter, as I said, the output capacitor, device stresses, these all are reduced, and this was done because we have selected the 3-level converters which offers low switching stresses as compared to nominal converter. Second thing, we have tried to integrate the interleaved induction motor and their VSC while charging the vehicle battery, and we have used the interleaved control techniques for that, and we have seen that the stator winding ripple is large, whereas the supply current ripple is lesser. That is because each leg of the interleaved boost converter at front end is operation is shifted by 120 degree. And lastly, I can say for the assessment of power quality issues, we have found that our stator current, supply current THD is less than 3% in CC mode, and even in worst case situation under CV mode, the supply current is having THD 10%. Okay. Again, so this is all about the existing work which we have done. We have tried to expand the same work for the 6-phase induction machine. So we have in our laboratory the 6-phase induction motor. One is again, if you see go in the detail and you try to see the induction motor, the 6-phase induction motor has a 2 part. One is symmetrical and other is asymmetrical. So this is the asymmetrical machine, this is a symmetrical machine, and again this is when we have purchased, actually we have customized it. No one individually provide, but we have customized it, and we have tried to testing at our laboratory here. And then we have also used the phase shifting transformer. This is called the phase shifting transformer, and it is used to 3-phase supply is now converted into 6-phase supply, and now it is given to each winding of this machine. So that way we have started testing. And now, as it is a 6-phase machine, so here we required 6 VSC, like 3 VSC, here we have a 6 VSC. And again, their windings are now splitted, so we can use that winding. So see, in the DC side, if you want, let's say if it is drawing 1000 ampere current, suppose we have a aircraft or Airbus where we want to use that kind of Airbus, particularly when you want to use battery and you want to charge with 1000 ampere current, you can easily do that by this particular configuration. So our concept may be extended for the 6-phase version. Hello? Any problem?
Sir, can I ask the question now?
Yeah, please ask.
Sir, actually, you are explaining that 1000 ampere of the charge.
Yeah.
So for the 1000 ampere of the charge, what will be the thickness of the wire? So actually, too much current now.
Agreed. I am just, that is why what I want, I am taking that rough figure like 1000 amperes.
Yes.
Here, what I want, this is not the actual data which I am saying 1000 ampere, but I want to say, suppose we have a light, let's say we have a 6 leg. Like previous topology, we used to have the 3 leg, and then we are used to charge the battery. Let's say here we are having 30 ampere current is used to charge the battery. Got
Yes,
it?
sir. Yes, sir.
Now
Yeah.
let us, suppose the same configuration is extended for 6-phase machine, and if each leg is capable of carrying 30 ampere current, here we can cumulative, if you add, you will get the total current of how many? 180 ampere.
180 ampere.
Got it? So what
Yes, sir.
I want to say, if you extend our concept for the 6-phase version, we
Yes,
can increase the charging current. Earlier we are used to charge with, let's say, the 30 ampere. Now we can charge the battery with around 200 ampere to charge the battery. Got it?
Yes, sir.
So
So
concept, yes.
actually, in practice, we are just looking at a welding machine.
Yeah.
There is a supply of the 180 or the 200 ampere current. So they are using the very thick wire.
Right. It is just like a plate.
Just like a plate.
Copper plate sort of things will
So
be there.
if in one side we are increasing the amperes to shortly charge the battery, then another side we have to arrange the such types of the material and use such types of the wire to control their just demerits.
Yeah. So,
Okay,
So here the idea of splitting the phase, here in induction machine, we are splitting the phase. Instead of 3, we are going for 6 phase. And again in the 6 phase, we are making center tap, for example. So again, we got the 12 such windings. So what I want to say, see, in total here you are pumping, let's say the 500 or let's say 400 ampere current. But if you see the distribution of this 400 current at device level and the winding level, they are reasonably, let's say the 2 ampere or 30 ampere, 30 ampere currents are reasonably available for this machine, and they can be used to go through these devices. But cumulatively, when they are added somewhere here at the outer terminal, here you required charger. So as far as the design part is concerned, if you see the practical data of the machine, even 400 ampere hours is also available, and that can be used, it can be done.
Yes, sir.
There
But sir, we have to work in the another side that the at the positions of the
Obviously,
400 ampere, so many magnetic field will generate there during the operation.
This is the DC side we are talking about 400. Now at the output terminal we are talking here at the machine side, its value is within the range 20 ampere, 30 ampere, not more than that. Let's
Okay.
see, let's say you have, suppose at the battery side you have a 400 ampere. Suppose I have a voltage of around 400 volt. So what is the total power required? 160 kilowatt. Is it correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
160 kilowatt power you required at the output DC side. Suppose the same power if you calculate at 60 kilowatt at AC side with 415 volt.
Yes, sir. Then the current will reduce.
The current will obviously reduce, it will be very less. And again, if it is going for the 3-phase version, it will be completely around 15 ampere and so.
Yes, sir.
So there will be no big problem, and we are selecting machine windings as well as the devices, multiple legs. Only idea is to distribute the current, because one such device cannot handle 400 ampere current. During dynamics it will fail.
Okay.
Maybe under the steady state it will work, but the dynamic situation it will fail. So the future direction is the same concept can be extended, and we are working on it, and we are trying to explore and the different reasons. Okay. So with this, I'm going to stop. Again, we have extended few more part, but as far as my laboratory work, here we can up to 6-phase induction motor working as a motoring mode as well as a charging mode is under test condition. Okay. Like you just look at this. Suppose if we have a 700 volt DC link voltage and we have a simple buck converter here, we cannot imply this buck converter directly here. If suppose we have a 500 ampere current is used to charge the battery bank, then this will not be suitable for that. Obviously, you have to go for some other converter where we can make either parallel combination or interleaved or multi-phase DC to DC converter for that application. So as far as the schematic diagram, it's okay, but as far as the practical feasibility is concerned, we have to see the other related issue. Okay. So with this, I am going to stop my lectures. If you have any doubt, you may ask.
Sir, I have one question, sir. Doubt, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, by doing the center tapped, there may be problem for sparking problem and efficiency may be reduced by doing center tap.
See, when you are for induction motor, you are talking.
Yes, sir. In one
no.
slide, there is center tapped of winding in 31 slide number 31.
Okay, let me move 31.
Yes, sir. There may be sparking problem.
See, these are the means what we have used here. See, here all windings are now taken out. For example, this is one winding which is taken out. This is the second winding which is taken out.
Thank
Okay, okay,
Okay,
sir.
this way. So when you connect this and this is now connected to supplies. Now this is a fixed terminal which is available. Normally
Yes, sir.
sparking occurs when there is a loose connection. Okay.
Okay, okay, sir.
So at
Okay,
the
sir.
design part, it can be done and there is no question of sparking. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
So I hope this is the last session and probably you all have exhausted as somebody has pointed out.
So, is anybody else have any query? Okay. So, on behalf of Department of Electrical Engineering, Maulana Azad National Institute of Technology, Bhopal, I, Dr. Ujjwal Kalla, extend hearty vote of thanks to our speaker of this session, Dr. Rakesh Moria ji. Dr. Moria has spared time from his busy schedule and delivered an excellent talk on the fast chargers. We hope this talk would be beneficial for all the participants working in this area of electrical vehicle charging systems. So this is really a very good, it was really an excellent talk, and very new concept have been discussed by Dr. Moria in this talk. So we are thankful to him, and thank you, Dr. Moria sir.
Thank you, sir. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Maurya. And hope that this will continue in future also.
Sure, sir, sure. It will be my pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay. Take care. Bye bye.